On this episode of Base Hunters, we are rolling back the calendar just a couple months back to Christmas time and revisiting Violent Night. Stick around. All right, what's going on, fellow home theater fans and base heads? My name is Todd Anderson with avnirvana.com. Welcome to episode number 10 of Base Hunters. Many thanks to our great friends at Kaleidescape, sponsor of this show. They are providing us with a 4K HDR Dolby Atmos version of this film to look at. Now, if you're a disc collector, you know this movie's only available on Blu-ray. This is one of 15,000 movies that Kaleidescape offers, and one of the many examples of where Kaleidescape is offering the actual 4K with lossless Dolby Atmos version of a film when only Blu-ray is available. I'm really hopeful for all of you out there that they will eventually release a 4K version of this film. I'm guessing it's probably going to happen around next holiday time. That would make sense to me. Reinvigorate a little life in this movie, especially once people get to see it through streaming and things like that, and they want to check it out in a better format. But if you're a Kaleidescape owner, I definitely think you should give it a purchase. It's pretty inexpensive. I think it's going around 20 bucks right now. Well worth the buy. You can see right here on the scorecard, I'm giving this movie an A-. I really enjoyed it. Excellent fun. If you're a fan of that die-hard Christmas genre and you also like that nostalgic pull of Home Alone, this movie is going to tickle you, and I guarantee you're going to laugh out loud multiple times. It's just a really well done flick. Visually speaking, you can see I'm really liking this one. I'm giving it an A. The detail and Santa's costume is just gorgeous. It's rich and just so leathery, I guess is the word I'm looking for. A lot of dark scenes in this movie with lots of shadow detail. Overall, it just is a wonderful picture. So 4K HDR version of this film gets a thumbs up from me. And the same almost goes for audio. I'm going B+. I like the audio mix. It has some Atmos moments, especially when Santa Claus is twirling around his sledgehammer. You get these really interesting whooshing effects around the room. I had some friends over to watch this film just after the holidays, and they were commenting on that. So is it a great Atmos track? No, I wouldn't say so. But it's a solid Atmos track that definitely is going to bring your home theater to life. That brings us to the base. Kind of inconsistent, which is exactly why you see giving it a B-. I didn't totally dislike it, and kind of the inconsistencies and a little bit, I would say, dare I say, a lack of bass in this film doesn't really detract from the overall enjoyment of the movie. So B- it is. You're going to find out with this film that the vast majority of low frequencies bottom out right in that 30 to 40 hertz range, which makes this movie very listenable on systems that have small subarrays. Even going back to like a soundbar with a small subwoofer, you're not going to miss out on a lot of content and detail in the lower end if you don't have big subsonic hammers. Granted, if you're just watching this on the television straight up, shame on you. Get out there and get a system and get some subs into your home. So let's dig in to our very first featured scene for Violent Night. Okay, and you can see there, this is Base Hunters 2. That is for Kaleidescape owners. If you own this movie on your Kaleidescape system, download the script file that I've made, link right down in the description below, and you can see these clips as I've drawn them up. From a bass perspective, this is probably one of the more impressive scenes of the film. There's quite a few nice bass effects associated with punch and strikes. You have deer hooves on the roof as they are escaping the carnage that is about to unfold in the house. And I'd like you to pay particular attention to the gunfire in this scene because it's lacking in the LFE department. And that's going to come back to kind of bite this film from a presentation standpoint, as I'll show you in the very next scene. So check this one out.
Oh, enough talk. Let's go.
You don't want to do this.
What? This? Now move. Are you deaf? Fucking move.
No, no, no. No way! Wait! Go! Go back!
Okay, so there you can see, decent scene, has some bass in it, nothing really all that wonderful. It's okay. You know, you have decibel levels kind of in that 80 to 90 dB range for the low end. Couple of nice moments, but in particular, the gunfire, I mean, you can see right there, there's really not a lot associated with that. This scene is really indicative of what you're going to find throughout the movie. Very limited LFE, and it's really held into that 30-40 hertz range. Okay, so moving on to our next clip. This is Base Hunters 4. It's only 46 seconds long. Let's give it a watch, and then we'll talk about it.
It's not snow. It's styrofoam. I told you this guy's a big phony.
Okay, so you can see there, he had that initial kind of really nice thud when Santa Claus falls onto the floor, and there's some other LFE associated with him escaping the room. But here is the curious part. In the scene before, I showed you a long gun is firing, relatively no bass associated with that weapon, and now you have a handgun. And now, gun experts out there, you might tell me I'm completely wrong, and this is in line with real world gunfire sounds. But here you have a handgun delivering quite the hefty punch when it comes to LFE. A little confusing, and honestly a little disappointing, because there are a lot more moments in this movie with gunfire, and there's relatively a little impact. And I know everybody out there, when you're in your home theater room and there's an action film on, you like to kind of feel that thump on your chest during action scenes, and you're just not getting it in Violent Night. Now, before we get to our third scene, let me just show you a snapshot near the end of the movie when the shed explodes. And you can see right there, it's relatively limited. I just wanted to show that because we're not going to be featuring that particular clip in this show. But for those of you keeping track at home, that is Base Hunter 7 in the script file. Okay, moving on to our third scene. This one is very similar to the first scene. It has some really excellent weighty moments, particularly in the beginning when Santa Claus is waving the sledgehammer around, the whooshing sounds. Perhaps maybe my favorite bass moments of this entire film. And there's some small LFE that's associated with fist strikes and weapon strikes that are happening during this hand-to-hand combat moment of the movie. But all in all, it is really kind of subdued. Now, because this track has a Bryan Adams song in it, we cannot play that here on YouTube without getting a note from the powers that be at YouTube headquarters. So I will silence that and we'll just kind of speed through so you can see some of the bass activity during this scene. This scene takes place at 1 hour, 12 minutes into the film, and it is Bass Hunters script file number 6.
Santa's gonna eat through these guys like a plate full of cookies.
Where the fuck is my money? Where's the money? Right, I've been a sweetheart up to now. But that's all over. No more fucking games.
Okay, so there you see a couple nice moments in this one. There was a grenade exploding, which you can see right there. That is a decent LFE moment. And of course, the very beginning of that clip with Santa Claus prepping himself by swinging a sledgehammer around. That also has some decent LFE associated with it. But all in all, for fans of bass or folks who are looking for reference material or demo material to show off their system, you're really not going to find it in this film. So buy this film for the movie and enjoy it at that level. Don't buy this movie as an audio demo piece. You're just not going to find it there. As I mentioned before, smaller subwoofers, underpowered subwoofers are not going to be challenged by this film. So the vast majority of folks out there are going to be able to enjoy it for what it is. All right, folks, that's all I've got for you today. Our next film coming up is Halloween Ends, the subwoofer killer flick. That is definitely one you want to check out. That's going to be coming out in a couple of days. Until then, if you'd like to contact me, you can find me on Twitter. My handle there is @AVWoofer. And of course, you can always find me over at the forum that is avnirvana.com. My username there is my name. That's Todd Anderson. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We'll see you soon.